All right, you guys, welcome back to our daily live feed. We're back and we're live. As you're logging on, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And say hello when you get logged on. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I believe the experience is a bit better on YouTube because you get to see all the comments, you get to see the photos, all of that. What's up, Holly? What's up, Brandy? Carolyn, what's up? Yes, it's Tuesday. I've completely lost track of days. Aurelia, Gracie, everybody's here. What's up, Lexi? Welcome. Today's a big one. As everybody's getting on here, you see our QR code right here is for Spotify. Okay. So for this weekend's show, well, this week's show, it starts on Thursday. We will be going live on Spotify. I'm going to go for Masters. I'm going to go live for Bikini. And I'll be on for commentary for Wellness and Bikini on Saturday Open. Okay. That's probably all I'll do as far as commentary is concerned, because that's what y'all listen to here. So, but yeah, so it's actually gonna be really busy on Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll have a little bit of a breather for Friday. We'll get some posing in, that kind of thing. And then Saturday, everybody's competing again. And then we got photo shoot on Sunday too. So it's actually going to be a really busy weekend altogether. Good evening. Good evening. So the spicy, yeah, I had to throw it in there for you, Aurelia. I had to do it. What's up, Jamaica? So yeah, so we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna do a photo shoots with my sponsored girls that are going to be there and going to be competing and all that kind of stuff. Tampa is always one of these fun shows where we do a lot of little cutie things, like I said, photo shoots and fun stuff. So we're gonna do all that. I fly out bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a full day on Wednesday, actually. I'm going to go down to Jordan. I'm going to go down to her gym in Largo and do a little workout there and get an interview with her. She's competing. We're going to talk about her in a little bit. So that'll be fun. I've got a photo shoot myself on Wednesday. Thursday, we got all the Masters girls and all that stuff too. So we're going to do some more photos, blah, blah, blah. All the fun stuff. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun weekend. So with that, what else? What do we need? What else do we need to go over? So some people have been asking me this. If you need anything as far as posing, hair, makeup, all that kind of stuff, you can get all of that on Sean'sCoutureCuties.com. Okay. Suitsandposing.com takes you to our webinar. Sean'sCoutureCuties.com, you can get our posing, our hair and makeup, and our suits there. You can also get all of that from the link tree on my Instagram. That's usually the easiest place for people to go. Instagram, Sean Couture, drop down on that link tree. You got it all there. And here on YouTube, if you look at the description box, it's all inside there too. So if you need any of our links or anything like that, they're all over the place. You got to look a little bit for them. Not too far, but they're all there. Yep, Tampa's going to be a vibe. I go to Tampa every year. It's a lot of fun. I used to live down there, so I actually still have friends that live down there and everything too. So I always have a great time at this particular show. And it's like we always have a bunch of girls that do it regardless of the year. This year's a little different, and we're going to get into that in a minute. I did want to talk about the big man in Spain real quick. We're not going to do a full deep dive into everything because we don't know a lot of the competitors, but I am going to talk about that real fast before we preview Tampa. So this is it right here. So first things first is Ivana. She did win this, which we assumed she was going to. It was pretty clear. I mean, we didn't really preview the show because we figured she would win it, and she did. This is a new suit for her. I just wanted to kind of mention this. I'm not sure if I like it or not because of the bottom cut. You guys see that? You see how high that bottom cut is on her? I don't know if I like that. I haven't decided if I like it or not. What do you guys think? Do you like that cut on her suit bottoms? I feel like it's showing too much of her um, hip flexor, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's showing too much. It's almost like that's the first thing I looked at. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of her suit bottoms? I'm going to pull up another photo of it where she's walking forward so you can see it a little bit better. I think this is probably a good one right here. Yeah. So what do you guys think of that suit bottom cut? Your thoughts? No thoughts? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? What do you guys think? I don't necessarily think it's low. I think it's fine as far as how low it is. I don't think there's a problem with it as far as how low it's sitting. I think she's fine as far as that's concerned. So back cut's normal. I'm just talking about the front cut. Yeah, I'm not sure I like how much it shows here. Right? I'm fine with the dip. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with how low it is here, the V. I'm good with that. What I don't like is this. I don't like seeing all this. I've always thought she kind of wore her suit bottoms up a little too high to begin with. But this is even higher. And yeah, it's narrow. I'm just not. It was the first thing I looked at. You know what I mean? It was the first thing I saw. She's always doing something a little different with her suits. And I don't think I like this. I just don't think I like it. Yeah, just a lot of that is like the first thing I thought is that's showing stuff that we don't normally see. You know what I mean? Like usually the bottoms cover all of that, right? It's one thing for it to dip down. It's another thing to show all that side, right? I think it's distracting. I don't think it does what she thinks it does. You know what I mean? The back shot of it is fine. The back shot's like a normal suit. I don't really have a problem with the back at all. Um, it actually sits on her quite nicely. You know, it's kind of rounding her glutes out in the back. I actually like the back cut on this. I just that front cut's just a little too much for me, right? Even when she's actually in her front pose, like I just don't. I feel like it's showing way too much here. I guess I don't know. I wouldn't wear this again if I was her personally. It's just a distracting. I mean, I think she's so good that she can get away with it, and maybe she's testing it just to see what people think. You know, she's already qualified for the Olympia. She didn't need to do that. It's a good idea to test stuff. You know what I mean? But I just don't like it. I just think it's showing too much. So, all right, I'm not the only one. That's a good thing. What's up, Dad? My dad's on. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. She looks great. You know, again, I don't want to go into too much detail with this. I do want to give her a shout out. I actually like the back cut of the suit, like I said, the bottoms, but I'm not a fan of the front. She looks like she always does. She's always very consistent. It's hard to beat her, especially in these European shows, because she does a good job with that. I watched some of her posing with the video, and actually that was really good too. She's toned down her posing quite a bit, which I really like. She's one that always does stuff a little bit funky with her posing. Like she tries something different and random and it doesn't really work. She does these random spins and stuff like that. She didn't do that at this show. And I thought that the toned down posing was very, very good. And I would continue to go on that route. I would just do a different suit bottom. I think this suit has a little bit of orange in it too, which I'm also not a huge fan of. I'm okay with the red. Obviously, I love red. I think red is a fantastic color on stage. I think she should stick with red. But looking at this lighting, I feel like there's a little bit of orange in it, and I'm not a fan of that. So I'd get rid of the orange and I'd get rid of those suit bottoms. Next in line was this Christina Brunauer, which we have talked about her before, and same issue here that she's had at every show, and it's her posing. She really has, and again, I watched her video, and she really yanks back in this front pose, and it just does not do her frame justice, and it's actually showing a ton of rib cage here. She's looking way too broad up top. And this is just a simple fix. All she has to do is push those glutes back and stand up straight versus yanking back. That's all she has to do to change this. And I think she could have really, given Ivana a bit of a run for her money here if she had posed correctly. But because she's posing like this, it's just the whole thing looks awkward. Her actual flow with her routine when she poses is very nice. She does a great job. She's a beautiful girl, but this actual pose itself is off. I'm not sure why she hasn't switched it and changed it yet, because she does it every single show. And I really think that it's hurting her quite a bit. If she didn't do that, again, I might have been able to give her an argument to beat Ivana, but I can't with that pose. And the back pose isn't terrible. She still can work on it though. She's squatting a little bit too much in the knees. She needs to stand up a little taller, and she just needs to let these arms relax a little bit, but it's not bad. This is way better than her front pose, and this back pose has gotten better over time. So I'm not sure why her front pose isn't getting better. Maybe she's just got muscle memory and she can't unlearn it. I don't know, because I have to imagine she's gotten feedback on that front pose by now. She has to have. And I really think, like I said, I think that pose itself is just what's keeping her out of the top spots. Everything else looks great. I mean, this is a fantastic back shot. She's got a great balance and flow to her physique. And again, a great flow to her actual routine and how she poses. It's just that one pose is really messing her up. So fix the front pose. That's my critique for her every week. So fix that front pose. In third was Chantal. I don't know this girl at all. But I, again, wanted to kind of just show her real quick, because she did take third place here. To me, looks a little lean. That arm hanging out here. Again, she's got that really hard vascularity through her biceps and through her shoulders and everything. Little too much glaze, maybe. I'm not really sure. Overall, good shape and everything. I just think the conditioning was too much. You can see the striations in her shoulders and stuff. So I think she's just a little too lean. Again, not a bad shape at all. Overall, really good shape, just too in shape, too lean, too hard, which is what they do in Europe a lot. You know what I mean? So back pose looks great, but from the back, I think she needs to tweak her pose a little bit. She looks very leg dominant here. I would say she needs some more glutes and needs to tone the legs down. And I think some of that could just be her pose. She's got her toes way, way out here. If she brought her toes in, I think that would really benefit her in this particular pose and would make the glutes more prominent versus the legs. And also she's kind of pinched up on top. So a lot of this is just the pose in the back. I think she's actually got a better pose than what she's showing. But I do think she's too lean on top mostly. I think the bottom half, she's pretty good with her conditioning. But I think her top half, she's too lean. And she's got a little too much glaze on her too. And fourth is, what's her name? Lisa Wreath. I feel like I've seen her before. I could be wrong. I feel like she's been in a show already this year. Overall, really nice shape and flow to her physique here. Don't know if I would change a whole lot. Maybe I want to say she might need to be a little leaner in her shoulder, but I think that's just the light. I don't think that's a thing. I think she's fine as far as that's concerned. This is probably the best front pose I've seen so far outside of Ivana. Nice, really nice flow there. So back pose. I think in the back, she was just too lean. Back pose looks pretty good, but I think she's just, if you look at the hamstring and how tight she is to the hamstrings, I think they probably thought she was a little too lean. probably needs a little bit more pop in the glutes. If she didn't come down quite this hard in like in the tie-in and stuff, she probably would have had that pop. I would say fill it back out with another pound or so. Put some fluff back fluff back on here. You'd be good to go. Because this is a pretty good back pose, executed pretty well. But I think that those hamstrings are just a little bit too tight. And that's probably what she got docked for. And last, so this is in fifth, is Jade. Again, not familiar with her, but placed fifth, so I wanted to kind of shout her out too. To me, this looks like all shoulders. Waistline's a little bit blocky. I feel like this proportion is just a little bit different. To me, all I'm looking at here is shoulders. Needs some more upper glute here to kind of match. When you got this big of a delt popping out up here, you better have glutes that match it. And I just think she needs that lower half. This could be a posing thing, and this could also be a don't pump your shoulders thing. And from the back, oops. She needs more pop to her glutes. I mean, you can see she's upper body dominant here. Makes her waistline look really thick because she doesn't have that upper outer glute pop. So she just needs some more glutes in the back to balance her frame out. Not a bad pose. Overall, I think that her conditioning is pretty decent. She may need to be a little bit fuller. But in general, she just needs some more size here on the glutes in order to match her upper half. So, but good showing, not bad. So, okay. So I wanted to go at least through that real quick with you guys because we had pictures from the show, but now it's time to talk about Tampa. Okay. So let's go to wellness first. Who is excited for wellness at this show? Here's your list. Now, again, it's not a big list, which we've kind of seen throughout the year with these wellness shows. Not a big list, but it's a competitive list, right? It's a competitive list. So there's a handful of people on here that have competed a couple of times, not done a whole lot, or have placed, fifth or something in a lineup of 5, that kind of thing. We have Devin on with us. Devin is coming back, her first show since the Olympia, so she's up in there too. What I'm most interested to see, Marissa and Devin. I think that between Marissa, Devin, and Rayanne, we're gonna have a fight. I think we're gonna have a fight between those 3. So Maya from another Maya. There you go. Hi. It's too funny. So I think it's going to come down really to those 3. I do have Maria Paulette pulled up as well because she did go to the Olympia and everything too. She just placed 5th in Chicago. I think she just needed to be better conditioned. So that's very possible that she can come in a whole lot tighter at this show and do much better. She had an overall really good look in Chicago. But I do think it's going to come down to our 3 girls right here. It's going to come down to Marissa, Devin, and Rayanne, really. So they all have very similar looks as far as size and blonde and tallness and all of those things. So they're going to be comparable, very, very comparable. And it's going to be a matter of who looks best that day, right? So we don't have the most recent photos up here from Marissa because she did the Arnold, and the Arnold isn't on NPC News. But Marissa was a little soft, both shows, really. So we're gonna see what she looks like coming into this show. I'd like to see her better conditioned than she was at the Arnold. All of that. Remember at the Olympia, she's the one that shocked everybody coming out and getting that first call out. She ended up in 7th. I think in general, she just needed to be a little bit more conditioned in order to move up in that particular lineup. But again, with Devin's rocking the curls. Yeah, she's doing the curly girl hair for Tampa, which is probably a smart idea in Florida. But yeah, so Marissa, I think if she can nail her conditioning, I think she will look 10 times better than what she did at the Arnold. I'm curious to see how she comes in at this show. From what I've been seeing on Instagram, which we know we can't go by Instagram, looks like she's put some size on. It's just gonna be a matter of if she's got the conditioning or if she doesn't, because I think the conditioning is what's kind of holding her back the last couple of shows from doing more than what she has. So let's see what she does, but she's definitely going to be one of your top contenders because, again, she was first call out the Olympia, 7th place. And then, had a pretty steep drop off at the Arnold, but again, that was one show. So, you can't crucify somebody for one show. So let's see what happens going into this show, her first show back since the Arnold. Then we have Devin. I'm going to pull Devin up, which Devin, by the way, I saw that your son is sick. So let me find a shot where you get down to the, I think you are in the box here. Hold on. I was going to find one where you were in the box. Oh, she's in the back there. So this was the Olympia, and Devin got sick at the Olympia because of her son. So let's hope that does not happen this time, right, Devin? Like I said, I saw your stories. I saw your stories today about your son being sick. So I'm like, girl, like put on a mask, some hand sanitizer, stay away, stay far, far away. Because what I'd like to see is, I'd like to see the same conditioning that we had from you when you won Texas. So if we can get that up there, I think you'll be very, very competitive and could potentially even win the show. I think between the three of you that I've just mentioned, I think whoever comes in and nails their look is going to be your winner. So, so stay away from your son, Devin, just for a couple of days, stay away. Okay, cool. We good? All right. So regardless, I'm looking forward to seeing her get back up on stage because it's been since the Olympia that she was on stage. So this is a good little break for her. Haven't even seen you since Cutie's Conquering the Stage in person. So it's been a while. So it'll be nice to get to see you on Thursday again and get you glammed up for a photo shoot on Thursday. So that'll be fun. So we're excited to see how this goes for Devin. Then... Oh, he sleeps with you. Get him his own bed. So next up, we have Rayanne. And I don't know why we don't have Rayanne for Olympia. Hold on. Let me see if I can get her pictures up from Olympia. Hold on a second. That's is this Olympia? That's Arnold. This is Olympia. And again, Rayanne did the Arnold as well. Here we go. Here's Olympia. So she ended up 5th at the Olympia. She ended up, what is it, 3rd? Was it 3rd at the Arnold, I think? So here's Rayanne. So my biggest critique for Rayanne is always that I think she's got too much size. People were complaining about her placement at the Arnold and things like that. They thought that she should have been higher. What I saw was the size. I just think she has too much size. So if she's been able to streamline her physique a little bit and come in with the same conditioning, she's gonna be a threat. She's gonna be your top contender going into the show. She is your top contender going into the show, regardless. But it's just a matter of how her whole package comes in this for this particular show. She's going to be a threat for that W. But I think between the three of them, it's going to be, like I said, whoever comes in looking their best is going to be taking home the win. I did pull up, like I said, Maria as well. We talked about her from Chicago when we wrapped up this show, and she just needed to be better conditioned. I felt like she had a really, really pretty look overall. She just wasn't tight enough. And her back shot was off. That's right. Her back shot was off too. So her conditioning was off here. Again, pretty look, but her conditioning was off. And then her back pose was really off too. I remember that now. Let me find a back pose. It was like all glutes. Dang, there's so many pictures from this show. Yeah, here we go. I think she's fully posed here. Yeah, her back pose is really weird. She's like all glutes here, all popping the glutes, and like no tie-ins or quads going on here. And she's got her toes out, so her quads should be popping. So I don't know if she's just not posing it right or what happened here, but the back pose was really odd to me. That's, I think, where she kind of fell off. Plus the conditioning. So we'll see what she's done to change that since Chicago. Who knows? But I really think it's going to come down to those three girls. What do you guys think? Who do you got in the winner's circle between the three that we mentioned? Between Marissa, Devin, and Rayanne, who you got? Who you guys got? Who you guys got for Tampa? I'll give it a minute. I know you guys are behind on a delay with me. Devin for the win. We got a Devin. You all have to say Devin because she's on the live feed. I mean, obviously, like I tell you guys all the time, I tell you when I'm biased, I'm going to root for Devin, obviously. And she in this scenario would be considered the underdog. So I always root for the underdog regardless as well. So yeah, I'm definitely team Devin for sure. So we'll see how it all plays out. It's going to be interesting though. I think it's going to at least make for a very good show, regardless of how this goes. Like I've talked to Devin before. I mean, it does not hurt to be compared with one of the girls that's in the top 5 at the Olympia. You know what I mean? Because then you can see what improvements you have to make as well. So at the very least, you're getting that kind of feedback. You're getting some really good quality feedback. So, yep, agree with if she comes in her best look, 100%. So. I have to be Team Devin. Have to be Team Devin. It's like a prerequisite. Plus, like I said, I always root for the underdog. I want to see somebody come out and crush it. You know what I mean? That isn't the favorite. I'm going to always do that. So I always do that. Yep. Must be the CrossFit. There you go. I love it. Oh, we got a lot of Team Devin. So yeah, no one thought you at Texas. That's right, Devin. Nobody thought. Yep, that's right. So that's the fun part about this sport is somebody could come out and just take it. And who knows? And somebody on this list that I haven't mentioned could come out and just blow everybody else away. I could be completely wrong. It may not end up being between the three that I just said. So we'll see. We'll see. So there we have somebody that's rooting for Rayanne. I think Rayanne has a great look, but again, I do think she's too big, unless she has streamlined her physique since the Arnold. If she's come down and streamlined her physique and her look, which from her Instagram photos, she looks great. So we'll see what she looks like in Tampa. If she's been able to downsize a little bit, if she's been able to streamline her look, I think she's going to be really hard to beat. She's going to be hard to beat. So we'll see. We'll see. But always up for a challenge, right? Always up for a challenge. Okay, so let's go over to the main event, which is Bikini. Oops, what did I do? Where'd it go? Bikini is the biggest lineup in the show. Go figure. I don't think that men's physique is as big. These are all over 50. Let me see. Men's physique is pretty close. If not the same size as Bikini, it's pretty close. Classic is pretty big too. Classic is pretty big too. All right, so Bikini. Okay, so here's the thing with Bikini is we have some names, but we don't have any big names. And we don't have anybody on here that's qualified for the Olympia right now. Nobody. So somebody new is going to qualify for the Olympia. Somebody new. Okay. They do have masters, so some girls are crossing over from masters and doing open. I'm not going to go through the masters lists, but I will be there for masters. So I will be going through critiques for masters on my Spotify. So I will put those up just like I normally do with these big shows. So um, with Bikini though, I mean, right off the bat, the first name that's on there is Jordan. So Jordan has been doing well this season. Um, obviously ex-Olympian from last year. So she's coming back again. This last show, she kind of deflated a little bit. She talked about it, how she flattened out throughout the show. Um, yeah, so in the comment of Daraja, I thought Daraja was doing the show. I know this was her target for a long time. I'm not really sure why she's not doing it. I thought she was going to do it too. I thought that would have made things really interesting. I thought she was going to come back and try and win this. But so Jordan, this is a hometown show for Jordan. She lives there in Florida. So this definitely is an advantage when you don't have to travel and all of that, right? So, with that, maybe that'll end up making her look be, her best look because she's at home and all those kinds of things. So, Daraja is not qualified for the Olympia, so she can't just show up. Daraja still has to qualify. So yeah, she's doing Texas. I saw that. I just know that, from last year, I felt that she had said that Tampa was like her goal show. So I'm not sure exactly why she's not doing it. I don't know. I thought maybe we'd see her get like as a late add-on or something, but I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so Jordan could definitely be coming in and kind of shocking some people here for sure. I think again, being that this is a hometown show for her, it makes it a lot easier because you don't have to travel and you can stay home and you have your routine and all those kinds of things. I think that's helpful, right? So be looking out for her. And then I have kind of a dark horse is Tamika. So she's done decent this year with some fifth place, second place, that kind of thing. Come close to winning. I think that her look this year has dramatically improved versus last year. I really, really do like her look. I think she's got a beautiful shape and everything to her frame. She's kind of refined her look again, like she's just her overall flow, her beauty, all that kind of stuff is really, really nice. So I see her as being kind of a dark horse in this show. I don't think people talk about her a whole lot, but I could see her potentially being up in those top couple of spots here if she comes in at a really good look. Again, she was second at Optimum. She was fifth in Dallas. So she's literally a muscle Barbie, right? Yeah. So I could definitely see her being one that kind of breaks some hearts here at this show for sure. So I think she's kind of your dark horse. I think she's the one that people aren't really expecting. And she could potentially be a winner here. I'll just be honest. I think she could pull it out. We'll see. We'll see. And then we have Lauren Dannenmiller. So Lauren has not been on stage since, was it the Arnold or was it the Olympia in which was the last one? 2022. So I guess it was the Arnold was her last showing. She took a long off season and now she's coming back. She was top 10 at the Olympia that year. So she doesn't have the same amount of muscle as some of the other top pros, but she's been top at the Olympia. She's been top 10 at the Olympia. So this is anybody's game. I mean, she's been out for a little while, but they really like her. And we could see her come out and maybe shock some people. She won the Clash. She's been up against these girls before. She beat Ashlyn at the Clash. She beat Ashley Kaltwasser at the Clash. So this girl is one of those ones that just can, if she's on, she's on. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to see what she looks like on stage after having been off stage for over a year now. This could be interesting here. This could be very interesting. And she's got a very different look than everybody else that's competing that we're talking about that could be in the potential top. So be looking out for her. Again, first show back in like I don't know, year and a half, something like that. And next I have Liana Gianamore. So, we talked about her with Chicago. We were all a little bit surprised at her placing in Chicago. I did talk about her from her placing in Chicago. I do think that that her posing was a little off. I think that her conditioning was a little off. So if she fixes those couple of things from the last few weeks, then I do think she's going to be back in that first call out. And I do think she could be a potential threat. Now, there was, like I said, I think she should have placed higher in Chicago than she did. It's the same judging panel as Chicago. So, or head judge at least. It's the same head judge. I don't know about the panel itself, but it's the same head judge. So if she comes back with the improvements that they told her to make there in Chicago, then I could see her being a real threat here. We'll see. We'll see how this comes out. I do think she's going to end up placing better than she did in Chicago, as long as she comes back a little bit better. As long as she comes back a little bit more conditioned and she fixes those posing issues. Next up, I have Janine. So Janine has been placing top fives consistently. She's been winning Masters shows. She's also qualified for the Masters Olympia. So, see if I can find a front shot of her. These are all back shots. These are all movement shots here. Here we go. Here's a front shot of her. This was one of them. So I don't particularly think she's going to win this show, but I could definitely see her in the first call out. She's got more muscle than the majority of the girls that are going to be on stage, but her frame is really well put together. So she comes in nice and tight, really poses well, gets that presentation down, all those kinds of things, and I can definitely see her in that first call out here. So be paying attention to her. She's one to be watching for sure. And then we have Ashlyn, who Ashlyn has not been on stage since the Olympia. Now, she didn't place at this year's Olympia. Conditioning was off, that kind of thing. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that, but she's been off stage since, and she has not been on stage since. She was top 10 at the Olympia a couple of years ago. So, coming back out, last year she had a tear where she won a bunch of shows. So this year, this is her first show back. She took some time off. I know she got her boobs done, all those kinds of things. So this is going to be a very different Ashlyn than what we've seen before. So I'm curious to see what she looks like. Most people would probably think she's the front runner coming out, but we have not seen her since the Olympia. So, again, going back to the same thing I said with Lauren, I mean, anything could happen here. She could end up coming in and winning the whole thing, or she could look completely different and not. She does tend to do very well in Tampa. She's done Tampa, or I'm sorry, was that Tampa? It wasn't Tampa. There was a couple of years ago. I think it was Tampa. I don't know. I'm losing track of the years. But I expect her to be in the first call out. 100%. She's going to be the first call out. Her conditioning, shape, all that kind of stuff is going to determine where she actually lands in that first call out. And most people going into this would probably consider her the front runner. So we will see. We'll see. And next we have India. So India is not qualified for the Olympia. She took second at Republic of Texas. So I still think one of her biggest issues is just going to be her waistline being a little bit too thick. This particular show, I know she's trying to open up more in order to make the waistline look smaller, but in doing so, it throws her proportions off a little bit. It's hard to balance that particular look with the thicker waistline that she does have. So I understand what she was trying to do here in these poses, but I don't necessarily think it worked for her. She's got really long glute and hamstring insertions. So that can be a good thing, or it can be overpowering sometimes. She's got a lot of muscle in her frame. So again, it's just a matter of if she pulls it in right. Some people would think she's probably the front runner here, but I don't think she's as dominant of a competitor as she used to be. I think she's 100% beatable. Obviously, she was beaten at Republic of Texas. So I think she's 100% beatable. I do think because she's a smaller, shorter competitor, her and Ashlyn will probably compare pretty well to each other. So we'll see how they look next to each other. Comment about Ashlyn looking great on IG. Everybody looks great on IG. I watch some of these, YouTube videos. I look at the Instagram posts, things like that. It does not matter until you step on stage next to the other people. Little things can happen overnight. You can get your period the night before and end up holding 3 pounds of water the next day. You know what I mean? It does not matter what you look like on IG. So this is for all you competitors out there. Don't let Instagram posts psych you out. Don't ever let those psych you out, because they are not true to real life. They are not true to the stage. They're filtered. They're contrasted. They're all of those things. Plus, you don't look like that on stage. So I look great on IG too. I look great. I mean, we all do. We all look great on IG. Doesn't matter until you get on stage. Doesn't matter, right? So we can sit here, we can speculate, everything like that, but it doesn't matter until the rubber hits the road, until they get next to each other on Saturday, right? So we'll see. We'll see. And then the last name that I have pulled up is Kareen, because she's making her pro debut. She's doing both Masters and Open. She's one of our Pro Performer Promise winners too. She won her pro card this past year. So if you guys pay attention to my Instagram and everything, you've seen me previewing her in her suits and all of that, her posing, all of that. So I wanted to give her a shout out, because that's what I do here. I have to promote my own girls, my own clients, right? That would be silly if I didn't do that. So anyway, she's making her pro debut. So say for the people in the back, posing for the gram means nothing. How are you on stage? Right. And most people, Jennifer, we've had this discussion, filter their photos till they don't even look like the same person anymore. So we cannot go by Instagram. Cannot go by Instagram, you guys. Cannot go by Instagram. Okay. Just gonna leave that right there. So she's got a new coach too. Ashlyn does. Correct. That's right. So anyway, I wanted to give Kareen a shout out, because she'll be, again, making her pro debut this weekend. So, but with that, like I said, I mean, everybody does doctor their photos and things like that on Instagram. I mean, you guys here on YouTube right now can see me. This is me. Like I've got a tinted CC cream on. I've got mascara and eyebrows done and some lip gloss, and that's it. This is what I look like just as a normal human being. Literally 6 feet underground. But we all get our makeup done, we get our hair done, we do the little filtering and the editing on our photos, all those kinds of things. So you cannot go by what you see on Instagram. Period. Cannot do it. Done. Doesn't matter. You don't look like that in real life. So just saying. I'm just saying, I don't even have my hair done. It's up in a freaking claw clip. Y'all, this is me out of the shower. So with that, you guys, the rubber hits the road on stage. So who do you think is going to come out and take it in Tampa from the bikini standpoint? So we got some from the wellness standpoint. We had a lot of Devons, because Devon's our girl, so we got to root for Devon over here, and we had some Rayans. Who do we got here in bikini? Who do you guys think is going to take it in bikini? Who do you got? It could have been somebody that I didn't even mention. It could be somebody that I didn't pull up. Sees the girls in person rubbing my eyes. That's one thing that I'm very proud about, is that people recognize me in real life. I'm like, well, I look pretty much the same then. That's a good thing. If you know who I am when you see me in real life, that's a good thing. Lauren or Ashlyn? We got a Lauren or Ashlyn. I personally, I'll give you my 2 cents. I think it's going to come down to Ashlyn or India. And I think Tamika is the dark horse. We saw this happen with Daraja this past year, the year before last, where she just came out and blew everybody away. I think that could be Tamika this year. Yeah, Ashlyn, India, and Jordan, or Lauren, Dan, and Miller. Yeah, I think that's a good first call out. I think Ashlyn, India, Jordan, Lauren, and Tamika first call out, your main first call out. But I do think it's going to come down to Ashlyn or India. I think that's where it's going to come to. Yeah, India's an OG favorite for sure. but the standards of bikini have changed. You know what I mean? She used to be able to hide the waistline with the OG pose, the stallion pose, but we don't do the stallion pose anymore, you know? So it makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for sure. Yeah, I would love to see Daraja jump in. I thought she was going to compete in it. I really did. So I'd love to see that happen because I think it would make it even more interesting. One thing I wanted to mention about this show, talk to Brandy about this because she was considering doing it, is, Tampa in previous years was a big precursor to the Olympia because it was the last show to qualify for the Olympia that year. That's how it was forever until we got the pandemic hit and screwed the whole schedule up, right? So we used to see all of the big names in Tampa, all of them. We used to see all the big names fighting because we knew that whoever won Tampa was likely going to do well at the Olympia, right? So now we don't have the tier system anymore. Tampa used to be a tier 2 show, right? Yeah, tier 2. So it carried more points. Doesn't anymore. And it is not the last show to do before qualifying for the Olympia, before the qualification series cuts off. So that's why we don't see these big heavy hitters in it now, right? Even in the other divisions, we don't see it. It used to be a big named show to win. It's not anymore because of the way it falls in the calendar year for qualifications and because there's no more tiers. So now it's just a regular show. People are like, I don't understand why these big names aren't coming and doing it because it doesn't matter. You don't have to do it. Right? So somebody can jump into a show. I believe they can turn their contracts in up until Wednesday. The Wednesday before a show, you can turn your contract in. So she potentially could, if I've seen competitors do that before where they feel like they're ready to jump in and they do it. Yep, let's go Kareen, definitely. Yeah, our cuties. Gotta shout out our cuties for sure. It's definitely something that she could do. She could definitely jump in if she felt like she was ready for it. I haven't seen anything to indicate that she's going to do that, but who knows? Maybe we'll get a surprise. They usually update the pro list on Thursday. And then we know for sure, obviously, once they go to check in, because Thursday is check-ins. So we'll know for sure if she shows up. She may just show up and just I don't know, jump in that day. Who knows? But regardless, it's going to be an interesting show. We are going to get somebody new qualified for the Olympia because everybody on the list is not qualified. Nobody's qualified. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. So I know we're here for the women, but I've got to give a shout out to Dylan Percy from East Coast Canada, gunning for his O spot in Classic. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Awesome. Good for you. I like watching Classic. I don't know a lot of the guys. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of the guys in Classic, but I do like watching Classic. I think that in the next few years, it's going to overtake the Open. I mean, you can see it just by the numbers personally. So you can see it by the numbers. But with that, I'm gonna let y'all go because I still have to pack and my flight leaves really early tomorrow. So I have to go do all that. That's why I look like this, because I still gotta put tanner on and crap tonight. So I gotta go do stuff, gotta get stuff ready and get out of here tomorrow. So it'll be a fun time. No live feed, but I will be going on my Spotify, which is why I've got the QR code right here. I'll be going on my Spotify on Thursday. So for those of you guys that have never done this before, I go to prejudging and I talk into my Spotify and record it, and then I upload it right after prejudging is done. So if you buy the live stream from Tampa, you can then go back and watch the live stream with my live commentary so that you get actual insights of how people look on stage. So I've done that at the Arnold. I've done it at Pittsburgh, New York, and I'm going to do it here. Anytime I'm at a big show like this, I'm going to start doing that. People really tend to like it. I'm going to do some interviews and things while I'm there too. So I'll put those into Spotify. I've got some that'll be going into YouTube as well. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications so that you're ready when all those pop up and you see them. Because I have a lot of interviews lined up. So I'm excited about that. And with that, I'm going to let y'all go. So shout out to your girl, Jennifer in Figure. There you go. Yeah, put your shout outs in here. They'll come on, tell them to come on and see their little shout outs. That's cool. That's awesome. Love it. So with that, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. And I will see you all in Tampa tomorrow. Tomorrow, my Lord. All right. Good night, you guys.